To you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I want to talk to you about the Mark Zuckerberg and FBI scandal with the Hunter Biden laptop. Now, in the fall of 2020, the Senate Judiciary Committee, in fact, in October of 2020, the Senate Judiciary Committee had a hearing and they questioned all the big three tech CEOs, Google, Twitter, and Facebook. And when Ron Johnson got to Mark Zuckerberg, he really hit an interesting point, and he actually got the same information out of him. And I was watching this in real time as it was happening, and I was getting really mad at Ron Johnson in real time because he's not a very good interrogator, and he was talking over, as you'll see, Mark Zuckerberg when he's trying to give him the goods. And he's too wrapped up in himself to get the actual answer out of him, unfortunately. But Mark Zuckerberg said enough to know. And this actually kind of irks me a little bit personally because in the fall of 2020, I was taking a course. It was called Mass Media Law and Ethics. And my final paper was on the Hunter Biden laptop deal. And I got a pretty poor grade on that paper. And the teacher said that it sounded conspiratorial. And I asked him exactly what did he mean by that. And he was saying that I alleged that the FBI colluded with Facebook to censor the story. But the thing is, I had actually cited this claim that I'd made, and I cited it with this clip you're about to watch. And he also said, you just assumed that the laptop was real. Of course, I assumed the laptop was real. I had, by that time, seen the emails. They had already been corroborated, and there was no question that the laptop was real. So I was a little bit disappointed, but here is the first time that Mark Zuckerberg admits to his dealings.
Okay, for both Mr. Zuckerberg and Dorsey, who censored New York Post stories or throttled them back, do either one of you have any evidence that the New York Post story is part of Russian disinformation, or that those emails aren't authentic? Do any of you have any information whatsoever they're not authentic, or that they are Russian disinformation? Mr. Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey, in my opinion, is just a useful idiot, and there's not really anything of substance, so we're just going to skip right through his testimony.
Mr. Zuckerman? Mr. Zuckerberg?
Senator, as I testified before, we relied heavily on the FBI's intelligence and alerts to us, both through their public testimony and private briefings and alerts they gave us.
Did the FBI contact you and say the New York Post story was false?
Senator, not about that story specifically.
Why did you throttle it back?
General.
Why did you throttle it back?
They alerted us to be on heightened alert around a risk of hack and leak operations, around a released trove of information. And Senator, to be clear.
Now, listen to Mark one more time.
Senator, as I testified before, we relied heavily on the FBI's intelligence and alerts to us, both through their public testimony and private briefings.
Why did you throttle it back?
They alerted us to be on heightened alert around a risk of hack and leak operations, around a released trove of information. And Senator, to be clear.
So it almost seems to me like he was trying to get Mark Zuckerberg to kind of shut up, you know? He didn't want him to finish what he was trying to tell him there. And if you think about it, you know, a lot of senators are trying to come down hard on the FBI, but look at Chuck Grassley, who's been getting a lot of whistleblower complaints, and good on him for bringing this up, but he sent a letter to the FBI and waited 6 months for a response. And the only reason he got a response is because Christopher Wray was about to come testify. And then when Christopher Wray was getting to Chuck Grassley's turn for testimony, he had to go catch a flight. And what did the senators do about it? Absolutely nothing. Okay, goodbye, Christopher Wray. Do what you want. And that's the problem. That's the problem with the FBI and the CIA and all the other intelligence and quote unquote law enforcement agencies is they have no supervision. They have no oversight. And of course, yes, they have things put in that are supposed to give them oversight, but it's compromised and it's all corrupted. We need to really scrap everything there and start over with something new that is not allowed to subvert democracy. And this isn't anything new for the FBI. I mean, look at COINTELPRO back in the 60s. And you also had Project Mockingbird with the CIA. And both of those programs, they just said, oh, sorry, we won't do that anymore. Okay. And that's pretty much it. But how are we supposed to know if we didn't know that they were doing it before? And it took a hearing to find out. These agencies and the bureaucracy within them no longer answer to the legislators that we elect to put over them. And that is why they have become tyrannical, and that is why it needs to get scrapped and started all over again. Until next time, peace be with you. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps me get this out. And I really appreciate you coming back and watching again. Thank you. Goodbye.